Finsweet.
Hello. Welcome to Finsweet Live. Today we're talking about Client First and what's happening to Client First. This is a big stream with some big information. If you use Client First, if you follow Finsweet, you are definitely going to want to hear this. All right, let's get right into it. First, let's go through an unclear and intriguing introduction to this stream. Products and people are similar. There comes a time in each life cycle where we have to let go and we have to release our control. We create plug-in marketplaces for SaaS products so that third parties can then go create product features on top of our own products. We have to let go of our product to allow others to build on top of our dream. A teenager moving out of the house, going to college, and experiencing the influence of others. It's crucial in human growth. And as we let our children grow into adults, as we watch our plants grow into trees and then grow into forests, we must rely on external sources for that growth. And this mentality is acknowledged and accepted inside Finsweet. And this mentality will be adopted by Client First. Client First was always built to be free and for the community. We built it as an agency so that we could work better as a team, so that we could be more unified, and then we wanted to release that to the community. And today, I am so happy to say that Client First is not only for the community, but it will be by the community. We're happy to announce that just kidding, I am not frozen. I got you there. We are happy to announce the Client First Board of Directors. That's right, Client First Board of Directors. This is really, really special for us. It is the next step, the next part of this journey that we have created for Client First, and that's the Board of Directors. The current workflow for Client First today, what we are currently doing is that Finsweet manages all updates and decisions. Finsweet is the only decision maker in the process. And this new workflow for Client First, it's going to include the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors is responsible for all updates and decisions for Client First. The board puts system-wide decisions in the hands of the most influential Client First users, the community, and the general public. So we are now releasing that control at Finsweet. The community will decide class changes, roadmap, versioning, official clonable changes, and any update to Client First. And everything is a vote. Everything. All changes to the system require a vote. Each member of the board is given votes based on their impact on the Client First community. And then the votes of the board will determine all changes to the system. And this is a big step towards transparency in product development. This change will bring a new level of transparency to the entire decision-making process of this product. And it's going to be a new way to manage product roadmaps. This is something we really believe in. It's part of our open source initiative. It's coming over to the Client First world because we believe transparency is the future. And this is the new way that we want to manage this type of product. The board of directors will follow a weighted voting system. This is going to be the amount of votes people get based on the influence that member has on the client first ecosystem. And the goal here with the weighted voting system is to ensure that voting power of each member is proportional to their community impact and contribution to client first as a system. And this is the founding board member list. Looking at it right here, we have Finsweet, we have Reloom, we have the Finsweet Plus community, we have the Reloom community, we have client first translators, and we have a public Twitter vote. These are the votes that each of these board members will get. And this really does put the system in the hands of the community. You'll be able to cast your vote as a member of all these communities. And even if you're not part of the communities, on Twitter. So this is the founding set of members, and we really hope to grow this. Right? This is step one. As Client First continues to grow and to grow and to grow, we want this board to also grow with it. Big shout out to Reloom. They always need a shout out when we're talking Client First. Reloom has been a highly valuable piece to the implementation of Client First. We built the system, we built the mentality, we built the ideas around building in Webflow, and Reloom has created that product that really helps you take those ideas and implement them into your website. So they are welcomed as the first company board member, and they will, of course, be part of that board of directors. Shout out to the Client First translators. Big effort from every translator. This is bringing a lot of people to the system. We're seeing a lot of activity on the documentation page for each language. And this is really expanding the reach of Client First. So big shout out to the translators. Thank you so much. Collectively, all the translators will get one vote. So when we have a vote, the translators will vote together. The Finsweet Plus community will vote together. The Reloom community will vote together. And each one of these groups gets one vote for the board. It's important to note that only launched languages will get that vote. So if you are still finishing your language, you will get the vote after the language is launched. If you are interested in becoming a translator, please reach out to us. We are always accepting new languages. How does voting work? Let's talk about that. A vote request, this is what we're calling it, vote request, is initiated by a company board member. And a vote request proposes a change to Client First with voting options. And the vote request will then be presented to all board members. And this is also to the community. The community is part of the board. So when somebody wants to go and vote request, everyone's going to know about it. Full transparency. That's the key to this system here. Company members, communities, general public, we all get to vote on that change, and voting is live for 7 days. So once that's released to the public, 7 days until we close that voting and then decide on implementing that or not based on the votes. And the results of the voting will be implemented 30 days after the vote closes. How can I be part of the board of directors? If you're wondering this, there are ways to be involved. You can be a company member of the board. You can be part of the communities. If you become a translator, if you join Finsweet Plus, if you go and join the Reloom community, you get that collective vote. If you want to be a company member, you then get that vote request power. You get that big feature as a board member, and you achieve that by having some high value community accomplishments. Let's look at what those are. You create a product, tool, or content that is mostly or completely focused in the use of Client First. That's one. Number two, you have 1,000 plus active monthly users. This can be free or paid, but 1,000 plus active each month using this product. 1,000 plus community members on any type of community channel, and then 5,000 plus clones on a Webflow project using and promoting client first. So these numbers may seem like a lot to you, but let's look at Reloom. They reached these numbers within months of launching Reloom. So it's not wild to think that you could be part of this, that you could really create a tool that's valuable in client first and be part of this board in just months. Again, shout out to Reloom. Awesome to see that success there. First vote starts tomorrow. We're getting started right away. So we're announcing today. We all know about the board of directors, and tomorrow we will have our first official vote. And that voting is going to be on a new spacer utility class system. We love using the new spacing blocks concept, but we don't always want to use two utility classes. We've heard both ways. People like it and don't like it. So this is going to be one class that applies utility spacing. Instead of, let's say, margin top, margin large, we can apply spacer small, spacer medium, spacer large. Tomorrow, all the board members will start voting on this. All of the communities will start voting on this, and we will have 7 days until that voting closes. And you'll see there'll be a full spec of this update. You'll get text, you'll get a video, you'll get a Webflow read-only link showing you this is what we are proposing to add to client first. And then you get to vote on it. If the amount of votes is in favor of this change, we will implement the new spacer classes. If it is not in favor of this change, we will not implement the new spacer classes. So it's really up to you. Board of directors, the agreement. This was a shortened version, this live stream, but we have an actual agreement inside the client first docs. This is live. So you can go to finsweet.com/client first/docs/board of directors. It's right there in the side nav now. And it explains everything that this board of directors is going to follow. This is really important as we scale. So like I said, we have this initial founding member of the board, and we want to double that, triple that, quadruple that. So this agreement is going to be the base for those scaling efforts. Aside from the board, just client first stuff, we have a new update to folders launching Monday. You may see some updates already inside your extension, but the official final update will come on Monday. We're still making some updates, and this is a really nice update to folders. Better UI, better UX, more features, and we will share the full details of this release on Monday on Twitter and Instagram. So be sure to look out for that. If you're using folders, you will absolutely love these updates. If you're not using folders, you probably should, because it is next level organization. Okay. Thank you. We're not done yet. Don't leave just yet. We're going to go into QA, but first we have to say thanks here. Thank you so much for your continued support in Client First. We at Finsweet will continue to work very hard to improve Client First. We truly appreciate your time and your effort in learning Client First, and we take your support very seriously. We are doing this in an effort to grow the system, to make your investment of time into Client First very valuable and worthwhile. And when you look back a year or two from now, you'll say, wow, I'm so glad I started using Client First. And that is what we are motivated and dedicated to go and provide for you. Thanks. That's the Client First update. Now let's go into QA. I'm going to go and look at the comments here. And if you have a question about Client First, I will be happy to answer that. Very likely will not answer questions outside of Client First. So now I will change my attention to the YouTube comments. Okay. And I'm not going up higher. I see a lot of comments coming in, but I'm not going to scroll up to previous comments. So if you already asked a question, just ask it again. Okay, Susan, thanks for bringing this up. When I use folders and I type the same name to merge styles, it adds a class on the number instead. Why? Susan, this will be fixed by Monday. So we pushed an update. We need to make another update, and that's why the official launch is Monday. So just give us a few days here, and we will fix that problem with the folder doubling up instead of being able to merge those folders together. Emmett, how many levels of folders are recommended in client first? Good question. Me personally, I like to do 1 or 2 levels. Depends on the build. For example, the client first docs takes a lot of advantage of double nesting. Docs underscore sidebar underscore element name. Because it's so big, there's so many elements and components in the client first docs, we need that double organization, the double folder organization. I like to stay with 1 folder. I will nest with 2. I normally don't go to 3. Although you can go to 3, I normally don't do that. It's up to you though. It's up to the build. I would recommend against 4 nests. In the new update, it actually allows you to nest as many as you want. We did testing with like 20 nested folders and it works, and the UI also works. So if you want to nest 20 folders, the new update allows you to do that. Shane, how will the changes be deployed? Shane, just download the Finsweet extension, and periodically your browser will update that extension for you. So it will just be updated automatically. Ali, can we have more live builds using client first? Ali, absolutely yes. Finsweet Plus, we are doing this live with our Finsweet Plus users. Those are released to YouTube. I will also be doing more live builds. As you can see, I have a different background behind me. I've been without an office for about 4 months, and now I have an office, and I will start doing those live builds again. So yes, absolutely more live builds. Harshit, shout out, background looking sexy. I appreciate that, Harshit. And Harshit, I'm going to follow that up with let's get some live builds from you. Harshit is a great client first teacher. I would love to see some live builds from him. Great. Okay. What do we got? David, can you add search to the docs? Okay. David, can you add search to the docs? Yeah, that's a tough one. There's a lot of content in there. We'll look into it, David. That's a nice comment. Thank you for making that. Let's think about that, how we can implement that so that it makes sense for search results. Absolutely. Lucas, with the board, will there be a public feature suggestion board where features can be upvoted by the community and then considered by the client first board? We don't have that in place right now, Lucas. This sounds like a good idea. This is not part of the original plan, but I like the idea. What we do at Finsweet, the way that we start to release new features, and even the spacer class that we are voting on for tomorrow, this is from the community speaking. So if you have something that you want to be implemented in client first, tweet at us. Let us know. Tweet at Relume. Tweet at anybody that's using client first. Jump into conversations. If we see that people are asking for something, we're going to put that into a vote request. And Lucas, I would like to think that sometime in the future there will be some type of board where people can, let's say, upvote different things to add or remove of client first. Nice comment. Okay. Okay. Christian Schmidt, how many votes are allowed? I'm in 4 groups. That's great to hear, Christian. Yeah, this is a really cool effect where you kind of get a lot of doubling up and a lot of say when you are part of multiple communities. So if you're part of Finsweet Plus, if you are Relume, if you're a translator, you get a lot. And of course, everybody's part of Twitter public. You get to vote 4 different times. So your vote will count through each of those collective votes. And yeah, that's just a benefit of being part of communities. Just us. Will there be a Finsweet candy that will convert the old spacing system to the potentially new spacing system if the vote goes through? Just us. We did talk about this. This was something that we just spoke about earlier this week. And we don't think that we'll release a candy specifically for this. We have so many other deeper and better priorities specifically for attributes that we'd rather focus on than creating a candy for this. However, if you use the merge classes candy, you can do a lot of this. You will be able to, let's say if you're using spacing blocks and you're always using the padding bottom or padding top, and then you do padding top, padding large, you can go and merge all of those instances of padding top, padding large with the new spacer class. We'll release a video on that. It's not a full conversion, but you'll be able to convert most of your project if you've kept it neat and organized to the new spacing system. Gregory Design, will you add more shortcuts to Finsweet extension? I open the REM calculator quite often, so would love to see the shortcut. We've been getting a lot of requests with shortcuts in the Finsweet extension, and the reason we haven't done it is because of compatibility issues between Windows and Mac. So yes, it's fairly simple to create shortcuts, but sometimes Windows has a certain shortcut, Mac has a certain shortcut, Webflow has a certain shortcut, and finding that right shortcut has proven to be something that we just haven't implemented. So not right now. If we hear enough people requesting that, we will reconsider. Okay. Let's say, oh, wow, missed some here. Great questions, by the way. I'm really liking these questions. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Let's just bring this up again. Georgie Rakita, we already answered this question about the renaming of folders, and there's a bit of an issue that will be fixed Monday. Just for anybody that came in recently, we want to make it clear that that will be fixed very soon. Thanks. Okay. Thank you, Pablo Cortez. I want to say that the Finsweet Plus sessions have been so helpful. Thank you for the whole Finsweet team. Pablo, thank you so much for being a supporter. Really appreciate that. We work really hard with these Finsweet Plus sessions. And a big, big round of applause to everybody at Finsweet and everybody who's presented outside of Finsweet, making this a really good educational opportunity. Thank you. Okay, Shane, will each version update remain live in the clonable sections? Shane, so everything is backwards compatible. When we make a release for client first, or really mostly everything we build, we're very serious about backwards compatibility. So this is not changing ways of using client first. It's just giving you an additional way. So if the spacer classes do get approved, nothing is being removed, nothing is being changed. We may make updates to the clonables, but either the existing spacing system or the new spacing system is totally client first appropriate. So this isn't really a version change where something's going to break and we need to keep a previous version. Stefan, have you noticed or seen any part of client first that might use better practice or be improved since the launch of V2? Well, one of them is the use of spacing. Definitely the use of spacing. And that is exactly why we are doing a vote request for the spacer utility classes. So that would be the biggest one. The spacing can be improved. And I would say, you know what, that's top of mind. That's really the biggest thing that I see. And it always breaks my heart a little bit when I see somebody using client first V2 and not using folders. It's like, I don't know, it's like running without shoes. You need some shoes on. So use folders. That what I would say. If you're not using folders and you're trying to get through client first, you have to jump into folders. Emmett, with the democratization of client first, any thoughts on a client first certification for agencies and freelancers? Great question, Emmett. Thank you. Yes, we are working on a certification. We found it was a huge project. I've said this several times on previous streams. We thought we were going to go release it, done, and everybody would be certified. But we got hundreds and hundreds of requests for certification. And we realized this is a pretty serious thing. We're not just going to throw out certifications. So we're planning the system. It will come. I promise there will be some certification that will come. I don't know when that will be. Okay. Georgie, design. A question about client-first translations. Is there any timeline that you expect translators to finish their translations? Not exactly. It's a do it as you can type project. However, we're really looking for like a 2-month turnaround. That sounds like a healthy turnaround to us. If it takes more time, it's okay. We've had people finish in weeks. It's up to you. But just like with any project, the longer the time period is, usually the lower the quality. Let's look at a client first example, a client project example. If we work on a client project and we really focus on it for a month, it's going to be better than if we drag it out over 7 months. Same thing with the translations. Get it done, keep moving. 1 month, 2 month, that would be great. Okay. Oh, great. Albert Franklin, love this comment. Hey, Finsweet, just want to say thank you for the translation of the docs. This is a great investment of time from you folks. It shows how much the community matters to you. Thanks. Thank you, Albert. I really appreciate it. I've gotten several comments from people who read the docs in a different language and thanked us for that because they didn't understand the English translation, the English documentation. That they speak English, they can communicate in English, but reading a technical documentation is a little bit more of a challenge. So I really appreciate when people send this message thanking us for those translations. Okay, let's see. Wow, these are a lot of questions. These are great. Okay. Okay, answered that. Nicola, do you plan to update the style guide? Maybe a mix between Relume and you. Maybe we can put that up for a vote request. That if we hear more people that want that, if Relume makes a vote request, right? Relume can vote request that for us to update the official doc, the official clonable to be more like theirs. We'll see how that votes. I like the idea. Okay, I'm going to answer questions really more specific about client first. Okay, Furry, how do you space elements using client first v2? Do you use div spacers or do you add spacing classes to headings, other divs, and paragraphs? I'm a huge fan of these spacing blocks, or you can call them div spacers. And tomorrow we have that vote for the new spacer classes, which will make this workflow even easier and even more simple. And hint, there will be some mobile and tablet flexibility with that vote. So the spacer classes will come with some mobile and tablet stuff, which really is something that we've heard a lot from the community. So we added that. Zach, gotta thank you for this shout out. Thanking the Finsweet team that you're using every attribute. Great. Attributes is very important to us. We have a lot of great updates coming to attributes. And yes, we work very hard to make sure everything works smoothly. Okay. I'm going to take a few more questions here, and then we will cut the stream. So if you have your question, ask it now. I'm just going to take a few more. Okay, these are really specific questions. I will answer these. Okay. Georgie, design specific client first question. I sometimes use text size large, but it's not responsive. For example, the size is the same on mobile. Is it intended? Drives me nuts, to be honest. Okay, so your desktop size for text size large is the same size on desktop and mobile. That's a bit odd, but okay. I would recommend, if that's going to be the use case for all of your text size large, just change that directly on that class. So if it's, let's say, 3 rem, set 3 rem for desktop, remove the responsive values for that text size large. If it's a one-off occurrence, if it just happens one time or just a few times to a certain amount of elements, you can use a custom class there. So I would need a little bit more context to answer that, but I would say change that on the base class, keep it throughout all the way to mobile, or go and create that custom class. Stefan, following up, in what way would you improve the spacing system in client first? I haven't seen any shortcomings when going from 1 to V2. Yes, so mobile responsiveness. It's really nice that we're able to use some global spacing classes and also be aware of the responsiveness. With the 2-class system, we heard a lot of people concerned about adding that third class, margin top, margin large is mobile. Right now we're working with 3 classes. Now we have to delete things to add things, and we heard some challenges for that. So it's not bad. We're using it efficiently. It's still a very good way to do spacing, but that would be really the most common thing that we hear from the community for ways to improve. I don't know. Patrick Foley, I don't understand that question. I like this question. Georgie Rakita, do you have any plans to expand client-first system to WISD attributes so that we can have one unified structure there too? Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. There will be WISD components. There will be proper WISD naming conventions. It will play together with client first. Absolutely. And it will play together with attributes. So Finsweet attributes, WISD attributes, client first, all part of the same family, Finsweet. And we are going to make sure that there is a lot of unification there. We're still planning this. We're still seeing how people use WISD. And absolutely, we're all about organization here. So we will definitely do that for you. Okay. Yeah, let's bring this up from Barry. Let's get these likes going. If you like this stream, if you like this messaging, if you like client first, if you like Finsweet, please give a thumbs up to this video. Share it with somebody that is not here, and just help us share the news about client first. The more that YouTube sees this activity, sharing, thumbs upping, it's going to share it with more people. It's going to bring client first to more people, and that will in turn make your investment of time into client first more valuable. Okay. That is going to be the end of this stream. I really appreciate everybody being here and just being supporters of what we're doing. This is why we keep doing it, because of your great support, because of your enthusiasm. So thank you. A big thanks, not from me, not just from me, from the entire Finsweet team. Tomorrow, be on the lookout for the first voting. Spacer classes. We're putting together the spec for it right now. We already have a unanimous decision from the Finsweet team. Literally every single developer on the Finsweet team has unanimously decided, and we are going to release that to you tomorrow. So be on the lookout on Twitter. Go make sure you're in the Finsweet Slack channel. If you're a Finsweet Plus user, check out that Relume Slack channel, and we will be voting on a new set of classes. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the day, and see you soon.